I'm Coffee Doug here with you for this Saturday's DVD review, well, movie review for Rough Cuts. I am going to be reviewing The Tingler, starring Vincent Price. It's a 1959 film, runs about an hour and 22 minutes. The Tingler, basically, is one cool movie. That's the best way I can describe it. This is one of the coolest movies I have seen in a long time. Kind of weird how I came about this film. A lot of people know Vincent Price from a lot of older films back in the 50s and 60s, but, you know, in recent years people have seen him in the Thriller video and Edward Scissorhands, and he's passed away now. But there is a comic line, Blue Water Comics, and one of their monthly titles is Vincent Price Presents, and I'm a big comic fan anyway. But every month it comes out with an issue, and it's a brand new horror or science fiction story. And Vincent Price's family supports this comic, and sometimes they'll write little acknowledgments at the end and stuff like that. But I read the monthly title every month and always enjoy it. And I had read that Vincent Price Presents was going to come out with a two-part The Tingler. And basically what it is this writer, Mark Millar, not the Mark Millar that most people know from comics, but Mark Millar and the artist Alex Lopez, they were coming out with a book, a sequel to the movie The Tingler. And of course, I couldn't read that without seeing the film, and I found one day I got a message from Deep Discount in my email, and they said they were having a sale on all horror movies, and The Tingler was one of them, so I had to buy it. The description of this movie killed me when I read it. When I read what the movie was about. The description, is about fear that manifests itself in the form of a little worm. And to stop this fear, to quit the paralyzing fear that you're experiencing, you have to scream to the top of your lungs to kill the Tingler. And when I read that, I couldn't believe it. And I did a little research on the film. It basically is about a doctor, and he discovers that anytime you're afraid, when you feel that tingling on the back of your neck or your hairs are standing up, that it is actually a creature that looks like this creepy little worm, and it is in your spine, and the only way to kill it is by screaming. Well, the movie at the time, when it came out in 1959, it's directed by William Castle, and he's the same guy that did the original House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts. He was the producer of Rosemary's Baby. Big horror, kind of sci-fi guy, but he was known for his gimmicks, William Castle was. So, for instance, when this movie, The Tingler, came out, in the theaters, William Castle had created something called Percepto, and it was where they hooked these buzzers, and I want to say shockers, but they didn't really electrocute you, but buzzers and shockers on the movie seats all across America. And at certain times in the movie The Tingler, when the creature would get loose or when it would be attacking somebody, these seats would shock. And he would have hired actresses to play nurses to come in there and help actors that have passed out. And it was just to increase the overall movie experience. I would have loved to have been around at that time to see something like that. I've heard they still have showings in like New York and LA and stuff where they do things like that, but it is very rare. And I mean, it's usually cool to go see a movie, you know. Some theaters can be really annoying now, but a lot of theaters are trying to go with extra special things to get moviegoers to come in. But something like that just sounds awesome. The whole movie's done in black and white, and the doctor, once he discovers it, another fascinating thing about this film is for him to discover the Tingler, like, he realizes that the Tingler manifests when you're afraid, but this is supposedly the first film ever that has shown somebody going on an acid trip, because Vincent Price basically has to take LSD to get himself so scared and freaked out that he can create this Tingler inside of him or inside of his patients or test subjects. Sorry about that. So he takes LSD and he, you know, finds the Tingler, and he's got an assistant that's helping him, and they're doing the research, and there's parts where the Tingler gets loose. I don't want to give away too much, but there's a good part where the Tingler breaks free, and in the movie, it does it in a movie theater. So at the time, when this movie was released, you know, it goes black screen, and Vincent Price was actually talking to moviegoers in the theater, telling them to be calm. The Tingler's loose, scream, you know, like he's trying to get people in the theaters, yet again, enhancing the movie experience. So I'm sure moviegoers all across America were screaming their heads off because of this film. Great movie. I can't tell you how cool it is. I think it was rated one of the best worst movies in the Raspberry Awards. I don't know if I'm saying if that's the right awards, but worth watching. Watch it with friends. The dialogue is even totally classic. The way they talk, and sometimes you don't know what the hell they're talking about. Sometimes the acting is so bad it's great, but a lot of the acting's good. So, and then the sequel, I'll just review the comics real quick for you. The Tingler and Vincent Price, The Tinglers, Part 1 and 2. I just finished reading these today, and I think the writer really did a good job at writing a sequel. It would have been cool to see this on film. You know, he basically tries to find the Tinglers in the Amazon and where they were created and where they came from. And hopefully there will be more of those, because it kind of, you know, it leaves it open. So, yeah, just check it out. I really recommend it. It was a very fun film. And that's about it. Let me know what you think of it once you watch it. I'd really like to get people's opinions on what they thought of it. So, again, Coffee Doug, Saturday Rough Cuts, thank you so much. Goodbye.